too. Uh-oh. One on there.
We are Mo, Cormac, and Evie. Join us on our journey to build the Plantiful food trailer. This episode, we finally electrified our trailer and worked on some other finishing touches, putting us just that much closer to opening. We hope you enjoy our trailer build part 10.
Welcome back. Today we're going to try and finish up a few things with the battery box. Put on some bracings for the corners and start running the electrical into the trailer. And Mo is going to be tackling some of the caulking.
Never done it. I'm a little nervous, but hopefully I'll get the hang of it. There's a lot of cracks in there, so this will be a big job for me. We'll see you guys in a bit.
Let's get to work.
We had a friend cut down these regular L brackets so that we could use them to support our battery box.
Now we can install them and support the corners.
Cormac first did this to help guide the drill bit straight when drilling the hole through the metal, before tapping it to create the threads for the screw to go into. He added Loctite to the screw and then installed our support piece. While Cormac installed the second bracket, I used some IPA wipes to make sure I had clean surfaces to caulk on. After the morning rain, we pulled out the trailer and worked on taking out the tables and sinks so we had space to work on the wiring and caulking. Cormac is going to be showing me how to caulk.
What?
So you hold it sideways like that?
Put a bead there. So you just kind of gently put your finger on it. Corner good. This is the before of things. And this is the after.
Did I do a good job on that?
Yeah. Looks great.
Nice.
What do you think?
Not quite.
Gonna make a career out of it?
Not really. It's too stressful. Cormac's gonna record what he's doing now.
I gotta work on this electrical box and run 4 circuits through here and underneath and kind of just see what that looks like, and hopefully the 3/4 flexible conduit will be able to manage 4 of those. If not, we'll run 3.
While I dove into caulking the inside of the trailer, Cormac took his classic thinking pose and tried some new ones while he considered the best way to run the electrical into the trailer. I think the laying down one was his favorite. Then he got sidetracked when our water heater arrived.
See this little guy? Oh yes. Oh my goodness. It's like a little suitcase.
That's what it is, all it is, huh?
This is nice because it's like just all plastic, so it's not really gonna get kind of crappy.
Yeah.
And this little dial on the front.
That's the temp.
Change the temperature.
Nice buy that you did.
Yeah.
I gotta get back to work. I'm never gonna finish this.
So hopefully 2.5 gallons is enough. Maybe 2. So why'd we take this apart? Take this out? That is the distraction of the day.
After Cormac took several trips to Lowe's and then Home Depot in search of the right electrical equipment, we had to work as a team to fit 3 of the wires through the conduit. We had several failed attempts, but decided to straighten out each wire and tape them snugly on top of each other before attaching them to the oddly named fish tape tool.
So you can hold on here, and I'll be pulling from the other side.
Okay.
Kind of like feed it a little bit. Hold on, let's get this thing straight. Is that going in?
The wires unfortunately came off the fish tape, so Cormac had to use pure muscle power to push the wires through. Okay? You're so close. You can do this. Oh, there it is. It's
I
actually...
thought I saw a little red thing at the end of it.
I think
I was
that's
like,
great.
I was like,
It's not that hard. I'm barely working.
yeah, see, I think you weren't feeding enough. 3 circuits, not 4.
Here's your answer. What was it that you said earlier? Everything was a struggle today?
Did I say that? I didn't say that.
You would never say that on camera. You're the positive one. He did tell me that. Everything today was a struggle, he says.
No. It's just like, it's still moving. This whole, running these wires in this conduit
Yeah, just that was a pain in the butt, huh?
was quite a struggle.
See? Struggle.
But I didn't say that. Well, we did a lot of figuring out today.
Yeah.
We figured out how to do the caulking. I think that I figured out how we'll be doing the electrical routing and stuff, which is good. So tomorrow it's just
Doing
executing.
it. Yeah.
There's the bear pose.
He's a bear. He's a bear.
Ready to start the next day.
Yeah, I'm feeling more motivated today.
So I think that we know what the plan is. So now we just need to do it.
Cormac spent a long time the previous day looking for the right junction box. We took some measurements to determine where we would drill our hole for the electrical to come into the trailer. Is that okay spot?
Yep, I think that should be good.
The heck are those? Little chicken legs?
Please! Please! Please!
Then it was a quick pre-drill and we cut out our hole, while crossing our fingers that this would all come together well. Then it was time to route our conduit and wires under the trailer from the breaker box to the hole in the floor. We soon discovered the conduit was slightly too big to fit through, so Cormac used the Dremel to make the hole a little bit bigger. Here. Oh, it's coming through. The rubber's struggling a bit, but not too bad.
Nice. That'll actually be a nice tight fit. So these are all of the circuits that are begging for power. I put a bit more wire than I needed, but to make sure we have enough watertight connection. Okay.
Cormac used some zip ties to attach the conduit to the underside of the trailer. Keep going. Then it was just pulling through any extra conduit and tightening up the zip ties.
That's probably pretty good.
Not too bad, huh?
It's probably pretty good.
I just got the kick.
Really?
Baby says, get off of me. It's like, lady, you can't lay on your stomach now. You're way too pregnant.
Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Oh, yes. Come here.
I think she can't go any further.
We'll come up right like that. So I'm just going to do one right in the center of this.
Cormac drilled the hole into the bottom and both sides of the junction box for the wires to come through. He screwed it onto the wall, cut the conduit to the correct length, and ran it into the box. Good grip.
Okay. So now we can push this down a little bit. And then this thing goes over it. It's all covered up.
So all the electrical for the outlets is going to be coming out sides.
Yep.
With these holes.
I am going to now wire these circuits into the breakers. So we'll just deal with one wire at a time. Quickly double check to make sure that there is no power. 0 volts.
Cormac connected 3 circuit breakers, then trimmed and stripped each wire. He then connected the 3 white neutral wires to the neutral bar.
So now all of the neutrals are done, and so now I'm going to start on the grounds.
Then all 3 ground wires were connected to the grounding bar.
So all the grounds are nice and coiled up there. And so now I will do the same thing for the hot. So these will be going directly into the circuit breaker themselves. And so essentially the circuit breaker creates sort of an interrupt switch that is in between the actual wire going to the outlet and the hot terminal here that's going to where the main power is, and in our case it's the battery. And so if it goes over the number of amps that the circuit breaker is allowed to handle, then it'll trip and it'll disconnect the two. So in the end, just do a little tug on the wires to make sure they're all nice and snug in there. So now this breaker panel is all wired up.
Then it was a matter of punching out holes in the breaker box cover to expose only the breakers.
And we have a fuse panel. What do we got for lunch today, Mom?
We have a mishmash of leftovers again. So this was dinner last night. These are quesadillas with homemade queso. These are from scratch black beans, like with a bunch of spices and onions, and they're so good. And sauteed veggies. It goes with a homemade pico de gallo here. It's really yummy. Then we have leftover spicy Korean noodles with tofu and veggies. Very spicy sauce, and then I just have broccoli on the side.
What have you been doing in here, Mom?
I am caulking like crazy, but it doesn't seem to be moving along very quickly. It was finally time to wire the outlets. Cormac trimmed and stripped the wires in the junction box.
I'm going to do the same thing to all three of them and label them so that I know which one's which when I'm working in here.
Meanwhile, I was busy sealing up all our cracks and crevices. I have to say that as much as caulking is tedious, it was nice to have my very own job that I could take the reins on. Baby bump date. Getting bigger. I went between helping Cormac take measurements for the rigid conduit and challenging my flexibility to get all the seams that needed to be sealed. Going crazy a little bit?
Yeah.
I hear ya. I really hear you. Really. Cormac found using a lubricant helpful in attaching the pieces of rigid conduit together. It was a bit of measuring, marking, and screwing to get our first outlet box installed. Good job. You're doing great. We got this. This is crazy now. This is insane. What's happening? From here, it's a bit of a mystery to me as to what was happening, so I'll just let the video speak for itself. To finish up this outlet, Cormac added a support to the conduit.
Ready? The test?
Wait, what? We're gonna test the outlet?
We're going to test the outlet.
Oh shit, let's do it.
Turn the inverter on. And we're going to turn on the breaker. The power.
Not the result we had hoped for, but Cormac did some sleuthing to find the source of our issue, determining it was something at the outlet itself.
Right, 120 volts there. The neutrals I had wired backwards. They don't need the extra heat, but it works.
We have an outlet in here.
You got another outlet. We did it.
No, you did it. I didn't do anything to help with that.
And next is to run the rest of the outlets. Uh-oh.
Darn, there was still an issue with the lower outlet. You'll fix it later. I know you will.
Fix it later.
Working! And I've pretty much finished caulking except for just this little area right here.
It feels really good to have electricity inside of this, off of the battery pack.
Yeah.
Because that's a big part of this thing working, is having things that can be powered. And this is essentially the equivalent of the amount of power consumption of the water heater. So.
Oh, nice. Hey everybody, I am in the trailer during the week. Cormac is working and I am hoping to finish the caulking today. I've got just a couple spots left and it'll be good to have this done. I didn't record caulking around our serving window, but it took much longer than I expected. Boy, it felt good to be done. Hey everybody, I'm back, very sweaty, but I just finished doing the side of the trailer. We are caulked for the most part, except for the very bottom. We are sealed in. So exciting. You can't really see it on the camera, but it is a huge, huge, huge difference. It's so cool. Hey guys, we are working on the trailer again this weekend. We aren't pulling ourselves out of the garage today because it is likely to rain and not really worth it. The very exciting thing that we started off with today is the fact that we have power in here and we can now charge the camera battery in here, and I also brought the fan out since it's very humid and hot today.
And let's see.
Cormac finagled some temporary wiring to test out our ventilation fan. We have some ventilation in here. Sweet. I'm trying to do this. I think it's moving. While Cormac got himself organized and picked up some last-minute supplies from Lowe's, I used my time to start cutting out coverings for our wheel wells. See how that turns out. I'm not super confident in that. Alright, so I just finished cutting out pieces for the wheel wells. We do not know how we're attaching them or are closing up the seams yet, so those are TBD. And Cormac's just getting ready to wire this thing up.
I think I need to go to Lowe's and get some wire nuts.
After Cormac got back, we began running wires into the rigid conduit to install our last 3 outlets. Cormac, how are you gonna feel when you get all this stuff in? And like,
Liberated.
love it. Looks like a Christmas tree.
Just take a picture of this.
To keep ourselves organized and for any future adjustments, we created labels for all of the wires. Looks like you're building a bird's nest.
I know. It's not a good thing.
So the circuit 2 and 3 are just running straight through there, and the circuit 1 is going to wire this outlet. Correct?
Yep.
Is that what's happening?
Exactly.
Our circuit 2 wire stopped at this outlet box, and the circuit 3 continued on to the next. And was from there connected to power our final outlet as well. Alright, Cormac has gotten in this guy, this guy, pretty much that guy except for the cover, and you're working on the last one.
Yes.
How do you feel?
I'm excited.
This is like, I gotta step back and get like we have electrical in here. It's weird. Cormac finished wiring up the outlets and we came back ready to finish this project on day 5. We started off figuring out how to take the screens off of our back windows, so I had a job to do while Cormac worked on adding supports to our conduit and wiring the side lights and the ventilation fan. These screens definitely needed to be replaced with some nice fresh ones so we can open up our windows for some fresh air while we're serving.
Okay. That's fun.
After being unsure of how to discreetly run the wires from the side lights and the fan, Cormac decided to solder our wires to a new white wire that would look clean and neat. He continued working on the other side while I worked on taking off the screens and cleaning the windows. We took a quick detour to better center one of our ceiling trim pieces so I could caulk it, since I had previously skipped it. So I got all the screens out on this side of the trailer, and I don't know if you remember, but there's a Coca-Cola sticker here. We don't want it there, so I'm just gonna be scraping off the rest of the sticker that I couldn't get off. It's coming off pretty easily, actually. Here, Cormac is screwing on a 3D printed part he designed to be our transition piece for our side light wiring. Looks like it belongs there.
Right?
Yeah, good job. You and your little 3D print designs.
That's
You
amazing.
could start a company just doing that. Cormac showed me how to screw in the clips that guide the wires along the trim to the back of the trailer. Then I gave it a go myself and finished both sides. In the end, we ended up moving the wires off the floor a bit more to make it easier when we're cleaning later. We removed our coverings in the back of the trailer to connect the side lights to the wiring for the taillights. Then it was on to wiring up the ventilation fan. Cormac made another really great 3D designed and printed transition piece for this one too. This wire got clipped along the trim down to the back of the trailer as well. We'll be adding a plug to the end of it and we'll use one of our outlets to power it later. Okay, we are electrified, right?
How's it feel?
It's like weird. We were using the outlets all day today, which was amazing. We were plugging stuff in here, plugging stuff in there. We like had everything we needed, which was really cool to like finish wiring some other stuff and using the vacuum, and it was just really cool to be able to just like use stuff at will. That was crazy.
I am very happy to see all of the electrical done so that we can put the tables back in permanently. And be able to like plug in the toaster ovens and fridges and to see if the battery that we put together is going to be big enough. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired actually.
Wrap this up now.
My stomach is on empty.
Are you hungry?
Yeah.
Alright, so we are going to finish here for this video, and next time we'll be back to put in the tables and hopefully the sink permanently. We're going to screw them down. We got to put some screens in these windows, and we will be back shortly. So thank you so much for watching as always. Please like and subscribe, and
Eat more plants.